This is my 1941 Remington Envoy. I got it this past October at an antique store that I frequent. Pretty cool machine overall in styling and in design. It's got two carriage release levers, one there and one behind the return lever there. It doesn't have a coarse adjustment for the ratchet. You only have a fine adjustment, but that's fine. You're pushing the button there and it releases the ratchet. It has a stencil setting, unlike my number 2 portable. Paper fingers, paper release here, carriage return lever or line space lever. You know, the little switch here that changes from 1 to 2 line spacing. Shift lock. Pretty basic machine. It doesn't have all the features of, say, a Model 5 of the same era, or a Streamliner. It doesn't have the paragraph or self-starter key, or it doesn't have a margin release key here. You still have to reach behind the carriage and lift up on the margin rack back there. Your ribbon winder here and over there. It's a machine that was semi-working when I got it. When the carriage was all the way over on the left side, it wouldn't advance. There was an issue with the escapement rack in the back. There's a screw back there that you can adjust it up or down, and it took a little bit of adjusting, but unfortunately before that my father and I were trying to take the carriage off to take a look at the escapement better, but we couldn't, and I must have taken some screws out and I forgot to keep an eye on the spring for this for these paper fingers on this bar here, so that went missing. And eventually I put this zip tie on here just to put some tension on there, so so they don't get in the way, because when they don't have tension on them they fall back, and when you return the carriage they move all over the place, so they're not reliable. But with the zip tie there, it's not a perfect fix, but it makes the machine usable. Also, the return lever is missing its spring, so I've been trying different things, and I ended up putting a rubber band in there just to give it some tension so it'll spring back, because when you return the carriage, if the return lever doesn't return, some of the keys will hit it. So just a fix to get the machine to work. But not a bad looking machine and not a bad working machine, but I'll admit that I definitely like my number 2 portable a lot better. I mean, I'm beginning to think it's because the way the keys on that machine angle up so that they're closer to the platen. For some reason there's a difference there. This machine has a much springier action than that machine, but that machine is much more pleasant to use. However, this is a nice machine to use. Yeah, nice machine to use overall. I had to fix the feed rollers with electrical tape. They were pretty much the front feed rollers were all worn out, but it still is a little tricky getting the paper in just right. There you go. Doesn't type too badly. It's not perfect, but gets the job done. Not a bad machine overall. That's the 1941 Remington Envoy.